Is it chill? Good morning, everybody. I think if that's probably better. If I put it right up next to my mouth, that's probably pretty good. Excellent. So this is, I just have some words to share. The main piece of what we want to do today is celebrate. So keep celebrating, which means keep eating. I'm going to give you about just a few minutes warning before we continue with our announcements today and our gathering. I also want to make sure I highlight that Judy Laverty is here and is a official registrar for voter registration. If you have not gotten your voter registration managed, or if you are not sure, she is the person to talk to. So once we begin meeting, we're going to take just a quick break, but once we begin meeting, you can walk over and talk to her, and I would not find it to be offensive. If you were to get up and just leave and start walking around, it'd be all right. Actually, you're always fine to walk out anyways. But let's make sure that everybody's connected with their voter registration. Judy, how many days left do we have to make sure? October 7th. So if you've got neighbors, family members, and friends, October 7th is the deadline to be registered. And there's another registrar over there, right there as well. Excellent, fantastic. So we're going to start. Go ahead and get your last drinks and some food, and we'll see you in just a second. So, yep. So you're going to say some things. Excellent. What? What? All right, let's keep going. I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. What a great treat it is. Before we continue with our gathering, I want to say some specific thank yous to those who helped set up. Thank you, Catherine, for helping set up yesterday. Thank you, Rosa. Is Rosa still here? She's in the kitchen. Thank you, Rosa. Rosa's amazing. Thank you, Paula. Where's Paula? Paula's probably around as well. Please make sure we say thank you to the many hands that have made this setup go so well. And I'm very, very grateful. Thank you to each one of you for bringing food. My tummy is very happy with that, and I'm sure yours are as well. So with great appreciation, thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to your vestry members. When I call your name, can you please stand if you're here and I call your name as a vestry member? Donna Melee, who's our senior warden, she is out. She is at a consulting weekend away on work. So thank you to Donna. Kimberly Cook. Paula Beaton-Forbes is right down there. Stand up, stay standing. Stay standing. Paula, Kimberly. Phyllis Finley, Ella Mason, Pam Anderson. I don't know if Pamela's here. There she is. Frances Wilson, who I know can't be here. Autumn Fain, and Kathy Tyree. It's a real big deal to serve on vestry. It's a 3-year commitment, and we're tremendously grateful for all of the work that our vestry members do. They are responsible for making sure that the business of the church is the business of the church, and it's done well and faithfully and cared for very, very seriously. So thank you again for the vestry members. This is the time when we are thinking very carefully about who needs to be on the next vestry. We are looking for vestry members. If you have been a member of All Saints for a bit and are interested in sharing in leadership, or if you know someone who is ready to be a leader at All Saints, we need to know the names. So please give that name to me or to any vestry member that you just heard who we can talk to about being on vestry for 2025. We will elect our new vestry members at the January parish meeting. So please have those names to us so that we can do that. I want to also thank the people who helped the vestry. The vestry is assisted by the hard work of many people, including the finance committee. And that is chaired by Gary Chatham. Thank you, Gary. Give us a wave, Gary. Katie Gorman, Gail Gottlich, Scott Elliff, Donna Maley as well. Joe Cecil sits on that committee, and Juan Martinez sits on that committee. So thank you so much to everybody who makes that work. And Chuck Hilton is our treasurer. Is Chuck here? Yeah, they came and left. Okay. So thank Chuck for being the treasurer. The finance committee gives the information the vestry needs. The treasurer makes sure that we can pay the bills and pays them mostly on time. So it's the mostly on time that makes treasurers very, very special to this organization. So when you see Chuck, just give him an unsolicited, I don't know if he would like a hug. It would probably be awkward. He's not a big, strange hug out of nowhere guy. But give him just a huge word of gratitude because he thinks about this church and how this church is being taken care of probably more than anybody except me. He is always thinking about how we can take care of this church and do this well. So thank your treasurer. They do great work. I also want to make sure that I say thank you to another piece of our financial team today as well. We have been saved many times by the great volunteer work of this gentleman. When we had some transitions in the last 5 years, Joe Cecil stepped up to make sure that we could work as a parish. We went through a season with COVID, but involved in that season also was the departure of Connie Mullins and then the retirement of Janine Canaday. And that just kind of put us in a place where we didn't quite know how to do business in the business office because, as Joe will be the first to attest, and I'm reminded frequently by my own insufficiencies, I am not the business manager of this parish. There needs to be somebody here who has that on their minds and who thinks very carefully about that. And Joe Cecil, you have been that person. Please, Joe, stand up and let us give him a standing ovation. It is a true thing that most of the best professionals that I've ever met are successful at a lot of things and are usually failures at one most notable thing, and that is staying successfully retired. Joe, you retired, and then you started working again, and you said 15 hours ought to do, 20 hours ought to do, and then it became 30, and then it became 35. And as we talk about this, we know that you don't travel through this world alone, that you and Jim made that great sacrifice. Please convey our gratitude to him for that sacrifice as well, all of your time. Good luck on your retirement until you fail at it again, as I'm sure you will. And thank you so much. It's just, we can't say enough. We have many things ahead, and I want to make sure we turn to what's looking ahead. We want to celebrate today. We want to make sure we remember what celebrate means. Celebrate means to honor, to lift up, to gather our energy around, to point out and raise up. You might not know this, but every time we come to church, it is a celebration. It is a celebration of thanksgiving. I am termed, and any priest who's at the altar is termed the celebrant. I am the one leading the celebration. And if I'm leading a celebration, guess what that makes everybody else who's in the room? Celebrators. You are all I don't know if you know if that's a word. We're all celebrators. Okay, we're all joining in the celebration. And if we don't have something to celebrate, guess what we do? We stop and go home. Because if there's nothing there for us to say hooray about, then there's really nothing for us to do. What we believe as people of faith is that there's always something to celebrate. There's always something to lift up and point out and raise up and go, wow, can you believe that? We're going to talk about celebration a lot in the next few months. right now we're going to begin that work with a celebration that is coming down our way on the calendar, which is All Saints Day and all of the stuff that we have lined up around All Saints Day and the celebration around it. All Saints to me is a vitally important day for us to get right. There's a lot of different ways to get it right, so we're going to keep trying. All Saints, of course, is our feast day, but it's also a reminder, and it's our witness as All Saints Parish, that life is not only life as we see it here, that life is expansive and huge, and that we are not journeying through this world by ourselves. We are journeying through this world surrounded by a massive community of saints whose life and love is as here present as it ever was, and may even continue to grow in presence as time unfolds. This fellowship of the saints, and you have their names in your hearts. I have names in my hearts. This fellowship of saints, whom we love but see no longer, gathers us all up together and transforms our life together as we join that celebration of saints. It's all a celebration, All Saints Day. Getting that right for our community is our gift, our charism into the community. Not that we have to bring something to become beautiful, not that we have to make a whole ton of something amazing to be beautiful, but the fact that you are beautiful right where you are, and that God is in this work of transforming your life more and more as you grow into that beauty. That's the gift of All Saints. And it keeps going and keeps expanding. It doesn't know any bounds. That's why we do the ofrenda. That's why we celebrate All Saints Day, or this year All Saints Sunday, because All Saints Day falls on a Friday, and that's really hard to get people to come to church on Friday night. We celebrate All Saints Day because we hold ourselves in love, recognizing that it's not just us, it's us. It's this whole community that we celebrate. And that's why we bless the ofrenda, as we're going to do on November 3rd on All Saints Sunday. And then we continue to gather the party and the celebration. We have a lot of stuff planned, and a big piece of that is our festival. And our chairperson of that festival this year, we need to celebrate this person, because next year this person is going to be one of you. I'm looking at you. Not you. You're done. Catherine Cox is our chair of the All Saints Community Festival. So let's give her a hand.
Right in there. Hi, can you hear me okay? Thank you, Father Jonathan, for your kind words, but I'm very undeserving of any praise here. It's all of the people who have stepped up to be chairs and to volunteer, to help and plan, and I hope we even gain more volunteers after today for the festival and for some of the festivities that are going on in the fall. So I'd like to thank those people personally, because they're really the ones that have done the work, and I really appreciate that. So our idea, the committee, we got together as a committee, and we talked about what we wanted as our theme for the festival. And we came up with the idea of celebrating community. And we wanted to make that message very clear. And we asked Debbie if she could come up with a logo for us, which will be on our t-shirts and signs, and you'll see it various sundry places. But this is it, and it's on your table if you want to take a look at it. Celebrate community at the All Saints Festival. So we're highlighting community, the celebration of community in this, as you see. And Debbie, thank you so much for this beautiful work. And she's done yeoman work for us on this. So I want to mention, though, before we go on to the All Saints Festival, that we have some other things going on. The Trunk or Treat. We had it for the first time, I think, last year. But we're going to have it again. It was a great success. Even surprised people, I think, that we had so many people coming out to get candy and to go to that. So that's going to be Saturday, October the 26th from 5:30 to 7:30. What we do is we put the cars in our parking lot into a U shape, and then the kids come into the middle. There's music, and Jason, I think, is doing the music, Jason Lewis, for us this year. They come in and they get candy. We have the trunks open, and the people are in the cars who have the cars are dressed up sometimes. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and we will, if you would like to participate in that, we have a sign-up sheet over here at this back table for that, and you can sign up that you want to have a car, and then they can plan a little better for that activity. Also, we have the ofrenda, as Father Jonathan was mentioning. The purpose of an ofrenda is to remember and honor our deceased loved ones. Flowers, candles, food, symbols, and photographs are placed on the ofrenda to help us embrace them in our hearts. But there's a process to this experience, and the first part is going to come up on October the 19th, beginning at 9:30 and going through the morning, and that is the setting up of the ofrenda, the altar, and it's going to be right back here as it was last year. So come to that, please, to help with that setup. All you need to do is bring scissors and a packaging tape, one that's with a really good stick to it. Okay? So, and Diana Naranjo will have the other materials that we'll use for that. So whenever the church is open, after the ofrenda is set up, you can bring in photographs of your loved ones that have deceased if you'd like, or some other object that was special to them or reminds you of them that you would like to place on the ofrenda to help you kind of embrace them. On All Saints' Day, which is the Friday, November the 1st, we're not having a service that day, but we are in the evening having a labyrinth walk and a meditation. And the ofrenda will be at its most beautiful. It's going to be lit, it's going to have candles, and it's going to have, at its top, you've seen it before, so you know what I mean. But do come to that, please. Then the following Sunday, a couple of days later, on All Saints Sunday, we will have the blessing of the ofrenda at the 10:30 service. So if you want to talk to Diana Naranjo, she is the one organizing all those activities. So now to the part I have most to do with, which is the All Saints Festival. That's going to be on Saturday, November the 9th, from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And we're going to need your help with that as well. We need lots of volunteers. So I have, again, a sign-up sheet over here at the back table, and we'd like for you, if you could come out that day, help set up the tables. Jason is going to be kind of coordinating some of that, and also Laramie Thane is as well. He's kind of over the volunteers, so he will help you kind of know what to do. So thank you, Laramie. Big applause back there. And this is the sign-up sheet that will be back there, and it asks for your names. If you know a role that you would like to do, like set up or take down, or just help with activities, whatever that might be, then put that next to your name, contact number, or email, and then t-shirt size, because you'll get a t-shirt. Yes, and it will have that beautiful logo. So if you would do that, that will be a great help to all of us. So please join us for our third annual festival, a day of fun, relaxation, and educational activities for the families. The purpose of the festival is to celebrate our community, as I said before. We will have artists and craft vendors on the grounds, community partners, which are nonprofits who support various needs of our area, and they will have information about them to give you. and lots of treats and games for the kids. All the activities for the families are free. Additionally, we will have music, door prizes, and 2 food vendors for snacks and lunch. Mr. Kippy, Smokey the Bear will read stories to the children. The botanical gardens will bring their parrots and exotic amphibians. There will be a bake walk, a 3-legged race, face painting, beanbag toss, lion toss, botanical beanbags, lots of beanbags here, fire truck, and so on. And also we're going to have, Carmine says he's going to have a prayer table at the festival, which I think is a wonderful idea. So if you need a prayer, you can seek out Carmine for that. So, how can you help? Well, of course, volunteering. Yes, ma'am. Can you?
What you just said, that last thing that you said.
About the prayer table?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Carmine came up to me today, said he would like to have a prayer table, so it's going to be outside. And if you need a prayer, most of us do, then drop by Carmine's table. So how can you help? Well, obviously, all the volunteering. Sponsorships. So we're not going to do the raffle this year. We always do a fundraising. Okay, but we're not going to do the raffle, and we're not going to do the silent auction. So everything is going to be, fundraising-wise, sponsorships. Those start at $100, and we go to the community for this too. We go to businesses in the community. But if you would like to be a sponsor, then we would love for you to be a sponsor to help. The money helps to support the festival itself, and then it augments the budget of All Saints. So it's very important to us. Donna Maley and Scott Eliff are the chairs of that, so you can talk to me, but you can also talk to Donna and Scott as well if you'd like to do that. Let's see, what else? Oh, we need volunteers to help with baked goods. So we have a bake walk, not a cake walk. So you can give something other than cakes if you'd like to donate some, a pie or some muffins or whatever you like to is your favorite baking item. And let's see if there's anything else. Pillowcases. So we're going to have a 3-legged race. So of course that means we need some pillowcases. These can be old pillowcases. Sign-up sheets, on the back. So if you can help with any of these things. We have about 20 community partners, correct? And then we have, I don't know how many vendors, but quite a few vendors. And if you're interested in being a vendor, of course, I know Diane Weiner is going to have her art out on the premises, which she did last year. So anyway, that's about it for me. So thank you.
That is a lot. That is a lot. And I'm very excited about all of it. It has become one of the key elements of our life together in the fall, and just tremendously grateful. Thank you, Catherine, again, for being our general chair. It's an incredible gift of your time and an incredible gift of your organization. And again, thank you. We want to make sure that we celebrate this parish that we have together and this life that we share together. We have an incredible, beautiful building, and the person that is charged with making sure that this building is taken care of on behalf of the vestry is the junior warden. And we want to make sure that we support the junior warden and all this incredible work that we do. Kimberly and the vestry have come up with this great idea that we can have ways for us to love on our building. So what we're seeing here is a community service menu. You might be seeing this in front of you. If you have a gift that you can give to this parish, Anything that you like to do, I am very good at digging holes. It's one of the things that I like to do.
iPad or something.
So if you were good at digging holes, there's a list that we need 5 holes dug for trees. If you can dig a hole, you can help Kimberly. Please review this. This is on your tables, and talk to Kimberly about this. There's a number of other things as well. We also have need for some other volunteers because this is all a volunteer-led organization. This is our parish. Look around the room. If there's somebody that's not here, but you know they like to dig holes, or perhaps they like to work on weeds, sign them up. I mean, really, that's how it works, right? Sign them up, tell them to meet you down here, and then when they get down here with their equipment, leave and let them do the work.
The thing that prints them out is
That's how you do it. No, that's not how you do it. Don't do that. Okay, sorry. Talk to Kimberly, please. We need to keep this place beautiful and lovely because it's a gift that we have for the community. Part of our celebration next year is, part of our celebration we're getting ready to have is next year. You might not believe this. I have a hard time getting my head around it as well. Next year is our 75th year as a parish. 75 years. It's amazing. There's a lot of stories to tell and a lot of celebrations to have. I want to point out Joe Cecil, and come on up, Joe, if you want to share just a little bit, because we need to be done by 5, of what we're talking about and how people can help you dream about 75 years.
Yeah, it is hard to believe 2025 will be 75 years. I believe, and Judy, you may know, May of 1950. Is that right?
The first service,
Uh-huh.
February 19th.
It was February of 1950. So it's been a long time as a parish. Next year we want to do, it's kind of shaping up right now. I don't think we have any solid plans at the moment, but our idea, Jonathan and I have visited, is to try to do some type of event, maybe something each quarter, 4 quarters, and maybe looking at something that's out-facing to the community. We're interested, that has been our mission for years and years and years and years, is to be a community resource and a community partner. So I think we want to celebrate that concept of community. So that will be the focus. So if you have some ideas about what you as an individual or the group that you're on in the church, if you're part of border ministries or you're part of adopt a caseworker, you're part of whatever ministry in the church, and you have some idea about how you and or your group could do something that would celebrate All Saints, but celebrate All Saints in the sense of its gift to the community. That's what we're looking for, not just self-aggrandizement, but being out there and sharing with the community. So see myself or Jonathan and let us know if you've got some ideas. We have some, and we have some people to talk to about those ideas, so be watching out.
That'll culminate with a 75th celebration on All Saints Day next year. Even though February 19th is our 75 years, it seems like All Saints Day is a good day to celebrate 75 years. Thank you, Joe, for leading that effort up. I'm very, very grateful. Here's some other things to celebrate. You've already heard them. Just write them down if you don't have them written down. The Pride Parade coming up this week. Celebrate inclusivity, love, the possibility that love extends all beyond to everybody. Celebrate the Pride Parade this weekend. If you're going to be gathering there, it's going to be 4:30 gathering. Talk to Paula Beaton-Forbes. The Pride Parade launches at 5 this coming Saturday afternoon. Again, talk to Paula if you're interested in being part of that. They'll be meeting down at the rally point, and that's going to be where Paula comes in to tell you where that is. There's a parade gathering point, and I forget where that is off the top of my head. Again? Waters Edge Park. And then afterwards, they're going to be, there's going to be, that's all together. The rallying point is going to be along Ocean Drive, and then There'll be a tent at Water's Edge Park later on in the evening, so plan to stick around at the tent as well. I can't be there for this because I'm going to tell you about the next thing. The reason I can't be there personally for that celebration is that I'm part of the team that is helping elect a new assisting bishop for the diocese, or the bishop suffragan. And this coming weekend is the forums that we have where everybody in the diocese can hear from the 3 nominees for that position. And we'll be in the Valley, in Harlingen, we'll be in Victoria, and we will be in San Antonio. And right at the time that the Pride Parade launches, I'll be in Victoria, finishing up the forum there. I'm the general chair for the forums, for this piece of it. So I kind of have to be there. And it's been a lot of work that we've been doing. I'm a member of the Diocesan Standing Committee, and there are 6 of us, and we take this work very, very seriously to lead this effort. Yes?
Do you know who you're voting for?
I don't know who I'm voting for. I know who I'm listening very carefully for, and I'll tell you this, as a member of the Standing Committee, I've been trying to hold that vote as long as I can, because I've had hours and hours and hours of visiting with these people and their material. And I'm trying to do that as a way to facilitate the discernment of the diocese, not to advocate for a particular nominee or candidate. So there are people in this room who will be going to cast votes because they are members of the continuing council of our diocese. That special election will be on October 19th. It'll be at the Church of the Good Shepherd. All of the council people will gather together. Your council delegates are Gary Chatham, Ella Mason, and Catherine Cox. You 3 will be our current voting members. There are 3 alternates who can fill in if the voting members are not available. That's Joe Cecil, Pam Anderson, and Kathy Tyree. So those 6 are paying very careful attention to those nominees. And I invite you to get to know those nominees on the website and talk to those delegates and alternates about what you're thinking as well. It's fascinating work, unless it's not fascinating to you, but to me it is. And it's part of our connection. It really, really is. Yes?
For those that don't know, explain what a suffragan bishop is.
So the suffragan bishop functions as an assisting bishop. And to Episcopalians, this really kind of matters. Also Catholics, Lutherans, Methodists who have bishops. The bishop is the connection that we have not only to our neighbor churches in the diocese, but also our connection to the global church itself. That's the work of the bishop, is to ensure that we are functioning as a diocese and as a parish in a way that connects not only to our own life, but to a global life. We are not what is called a congregational community. We don't exist only for our own selves. We exist as part of a whole, in an ever-expanding spiral of wholes. And the bishop is the way in which we understand our deepest connection to this whole body of Christ, an order of the body of Christ, the church. Technically, you will experience the ministry of the suffragan bishop in their teaching. So if you go to council, or if you read things online or go to a retreat, that bishop will be visiting here, so you'll have the honor of being with them as they visit and bless and baptize and confirm people here. They'll also be involved in a number of other ministries of the diocese as you might connect to them at Camp Capers and our other camp programs and some other offerings of the diocese. So that's the work of the bishop. And the other big thing the bishop does is take care of the diocese clergy. So the diocese is very blessed to have a bishop that can do that well. And these 3 candidates take that very, very seriously. Does that help? Does that help? Did I miss anything, Judy? No, really, I need to know that if I miss anything. Okay.
But the difference between the suffragan and the diocesan bishop, I think.
The diocesan bishop is in charge, and the diocesan bishop is David Reed, and the suffragan bishop is the assistant. The vision and direction of the diocese is conducted by the diocesan bishop, and the suffragan bishop is there to assist that with the bishop's work as well. Does that make sense? Kind of like an associate rector and a rector. Yeah.
And
is not necessarily the successor to the presiding, to the bishop of the diocese.
She or he is not necessarily an successor. That's very important. The suffragan bishop is not our next diocesan bishop. That would be a bishop coadjutor. That's a different bishop. The suffragan bishop is functioning like an assistant, just like an assistant rector does not automatically become the rector. An assistant rector is there to be an assistant. Same thing with the suffragan bishop. Yes, Ella. It's very important that the suffragan bishop, and this is what makes it unique. Boy, this is fun. I love doing this stuff. What makes it unique is that the bishop suffragan and the bishop diocesan will be working very closely with one another for the duration of their ministries. This is not time limited. Conceivably, they both could work together as long as they both want to work in their respective positions. So this could be a long-term relationship. So they have to know how to work together. And it's interesting that the diocese, the body of the diocese, gets to play matchmaker for our diocesan bishop's new best friend. That's literally what we're doing, is voting on Bishop Reed's new best friend. And he has met personally with each of them and has said to us on the standing committee, I'm happy with all of them. They're wonderful. Thank you. So we're very confident that we're in a good place. There's lots to learn about that on the diocesan website. We've linked to it on our own webpage. And we have some links on our newsletter for that as well. Thank you so much for all the communications team making sure that that's available. Yes?
We've had Bishop Reed here twice preaching with the Bishop here.
Yes, they would visit as well. We've had Bishop Reed here, I think, once. Different Bishop Reed. There's a R-E-E-D and a R-E-A-D. Sorry, both Davids. Yes, yeah, we really tried to find a suffragan bishop candidate named David Reed. That would have been so awesome. And I'm telling you, we really looked. I'd love to tell you that we didn't, but that was about 5 hours of time, actually. At least in my... Yeah, R-E-A-D, R-E-E-D. Our current bishop is R-E-A-D. Previous bishop was R-E-E-D. Ask Gary for the difference. He knows them really, really well. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. So, yeah. But we did have Bishop R-E-A-D here recently. Yes. Any other questions? Great. And also celebrate as well our border ministries. I know you heard the announcement this morning from Paul that the border ministries is going in a couple of weeks. Is that right? October 12th. So what a wonderful thing. We need socks. It's Socktober, so let's make sure that we take care of the socks. I'm going to flip my agenda a little bit around. I'm going to say this right now before my last thing, because I'm pretty sure the last thing I want to talk about is going to be the biggest thing we talk about, and then all of the energy is going to go out of the room, and then never mind. I'm going to say it this way. I want to make sure I give you a financial update on our parish finances for the fall. This is really brief, really clear, and really quick. First thing, the finances that you need to know, that information is being shared on the wall. Thank you, Autumn Fain, for making that display possible. On the wall is a bulletin board, a small bulletin board with our financial information on it. Go read it. Okay. Second of all, we are doing really, really well financially when it comes to our pledges. People are keeping their pledges up to date. Good job. Thank you so much. We really, really, really need you to keep that up to date. Here's why our pledges are up to date in our general pledge giving. We've had a handful of people who have given their big annual pledges all at once at the beginning of the year. We average that out per month. So that means that we're coming due on the amount of our pledge giving that's going down as the year unfolds. So we've had 6 months of the year where our annual pledges were really, really high, but then as time goes on, the pledge numbers start going down compared to what the actual pledge is. The pledge giving is starting to go down compared to the pledge promises that were made. So please keep up your pledge giving to this parish. Part 3, if you can give above your pledge, we need you to. For some reason, the number of dollars that we anticipate to receive that is given outside of the pledges, that has been the number that has been given outside of pledges in previous years, has not been given this year. So our finances are tight. They're not dire, but they're very tight. Anybody on vestry can fill you in on any of that information. At the same time, we are controlling our costs. While we control costs, you need to know this. We are a very, very, very small operation for a really, really, really big bunch of stuff that we're doing as a parish. There is one full-time staff member at the church right now, and that's me. When I got here, there were 4 or 3.5 or 4 full-time staff members. Okay, now that's just the nature of transition. We are working very smart with our staffing. I can fill you in on that. The vestry and the finance committee is very clear about being very efficient with our spending, but that also means that there's not anywhere else for us to cut when it comes to staffing. So we need numbers giving to increase. So if you can give above your pledge this year, please do. If you're sitting next to an open space where you know somebody should be sitting who can help with this conversation as well, and you're close enough to them to talk about the financial situation at All Saints, please do that. Finances, money, it's all about energy. It's just about energy. Money is really important to our lives together, but let's not forget that money is not the God that many of us would make it. Finances are about the ways in which our energy moves from one place to another place. So if I'd like to give you energy, and part of that energy is the financial needs that you have to do an amazing thing, then I have the power to give that energy to you. This church is doing amazing things in the community, and we need the energy of our community to continue that great work. That's why when Catherine mentions the sponsorships for the festival, that is an intentional effort for those who are outside of the parish membership, but who might want to give energy to the congregation. That's a vehicle for them to do that. So if you have a friend or a neighbor who's a business person and really loves All Saints and really wants to support All Saints but isn't a member, then go talk to them and say, this parish is changing the world. We'd like your energy to help make that happen. And your energy needs to be in the form of a check. And you can do that for as much as you, or as little as you'd like, but we need your energy to do that work. So please take that very seriously as we go. It helps our vestry know that we're all in on this together, but it also helps us dream for what might be coming next. And dreaming is where I think we all find ourselves as we dream and think and pray about this parish. Thank you for your attention to that. It really matters. And again, thank you to Chuck Hilton and to Gary Chatham, the vestry and the finance committee, who really spent a lot of time thinking and praying about the finances of the parish. Okay. Did I promise anybody else time at the microphone? Who did I promise? You don't know? Okay. Okay, so I started at All Saints in 2012. I had been in parish ministry prior to that all of my adult life. So I've lived and worked in a lot of different parishes, cathedrals, St. Mark's in San Antonio, St. George in San Antonio. I've been around, I've done a lot of liturgy, and I'm a liturgy geek. I've worked with a lot of musicians. It took me exactly 1 month to realize that whatever is going on in this parish musically is remarkable. I don't know what it is. I still haven't figured it out. But there is an energy in the way this congregation does its music life together. It's not only about technical proficiency, but that's there. It's not only about good, well-trained voices, but that's there also. There's just something else that is going on that is about spirit and depth and love and attention to the movement of the Spirit in the community. That's the kind of thing, as a priest, as a pastor, as a liturgist, you really have no way of finding and no way of paying for. It's just a gift. So it was very quickly that I realized that this parish has an incredible gift that I just can't believe it. By the way, I'm just going to pause. This parish led the music for Diocesan Council in 2013, a combined choir, but led by Arlene and this choir. Colleagues in the diocese, every council, come up to me afterward and say, anything that anybody has ever done since then is nowhere near as good as that was. And then the next time when we hosted council in 2019, or 2020, because we led the choirs in 2020 as well. I just want you to hear that. Professional liturgists look to All Saints as the standard by which our collective worship as a whole diocese is measured. Because they knew that Arlene was leading it and that this music ministry was leading it. I still don't know what it is, Arlene. Neither do you. We'll talk. But it's magic. It's magic. It's about wholeheartedness. It's about love. It's about creativity. It's I don't know what it's about. It's just amazing. So then when the person who's been leading that starts coming up to you, I think it was 6 years ago when you first mentioned it, Arlene, and says, I'm thinking about retiring, the first thing that I did was deploy the tools that I used in my home when I was confronted with something that I didn't want to talk about or didn't want to do, which is I ignored it and changed the subject. It's a great coping mechanism. Anybody, the youngest child in a weird family? That's me. So ignore it and change the subject, or go for a long walk. That's the other way to handle it as well. So I've been ignoring those conversations and changing the subject on those conversations and going on long walks away from those conversations for a long, long time. And at the same time, Arlene, you have been giving yourself to this music ministry over and over and over again. Something shifted in our conversation in May, and it became very clear that you had another thing on your mind and another love toward which you were going. And that other love is retirement and also some other creative ventures that was requiring you to think differently about your time and about your presence here. So I want to announce to the congregation, and then I'm going to bring you up, that Arlene Long is retiring from All Saints as music director. And so I'm going to give a few details, and then it's yours. What this means is that I've not accepted, well, we have accepted your retirement, but we're not letting you go quite yet. Okay. So Arlene is going to stay on for a while and be the accompanist and organ presence. But will retire from conducting the choir and preparing the choir effective tomorrow. So that's but we've been working on this a while. The choir has been informed. We talked to the choir about this earlier this week. I am delighted to announce that the new director of the choir, music director at All Saints, is Mr. Devin Davis. Who many of you may know from the community. He's been in church with his amazing kids a couple of times the last few months, checking it out. Devin is assistant professor is adjunct professor at TAMU. Also is the director of the chorale, the artistic director of the chorale, and is the director of choirs at Carroll High School, and also is associate director or assistant director for some school choirs in town as well. We'll be publishing and sharing a full CV and a bio of Devin with the parish with this announcement. He is an incredible presence, and we're honored. I'm honored to have him. He's an energizer. And most importantly, he was your first recommendation. And that matters to me dearly. So I'm very honored, and I'm very grateful for that. You're going to stick around a bit. So I'm done, and this is hers now. 5 o'clock, Arlene.
I'm going to a concert at 4, so you'll be done before then. Can you hear me? Yeah. Great. I have words. One of the words is gratitude. This congregation has been for 33 or 34 years, I'm not sure which, very receptive, very willing to go to crazy things sometimes. I'm grateful. Gratitude. I have gratitude for the choir. They are in other places, including heaven, but those in this room and in this parish are an amazing body that they create. It is not one person, it's not me. It is a body, and I'm grateful. My mentor used to say, nothing sings like people. And that is so true. So gratitude. And then gratitude to Jonathan. This is the hard one. He has been and is an amazing listener, an amazing thought person, so kind, so competent, so aware. Gratitude. That's it. Go home. No, I can't do that yet. I'll give it to you.
I neglected to say that we will have a full celebration and a proper full retrospective. We don't know what it is at the January parish meeting. It takes a long time to say goodbye to someone whose life has been so substantial, and we want to do that well as a way to kick off our 75th year to celebrate the gift of music that is at the heart of this parish. I told the choir, you gave me the mic back, so I'm going to keep going. I told the choir this, and I want you to hear me say this as well. There are parishes for whom the musical footprint is the pipe organ, or there are parishes for whom the musical footprint is the collection of soloists. This parish, it's very important to me to continue the work that you've begun, Arlene, is that this parish is a singing community led by a choir. And that really, really matters. So we're going to lean into that. We're going to keep leaning into that. And Devin being on board is a very, very important part of that. And your generous offer to stick around and keep helping hand that off to him is a tremendous gift as well. So I'm very personally grateful. Thank you, God, for giving us Arlene. Thank you, God, for giving us Arlene. That's all I have. Does anybody have anything else they want to say? Have I missed anything? It's likely that I have. Celebrate, honor, lift up, hold it, draw attention to that which is beautiful in your life, and go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.